let's look at the threats to investments in the country. And I'd like to throw the question back at Mr. Awunusi. Well, the president did say our security agencies are constantly being strengthened and repositioned for greater efficiency. But shortly after he said that, over 40 students of the Federal Polytechnic were massacred at will in Mubi, Adamawa State. Here in Lagos, armed robbery is probably running more rampant than ever before. So, the strengthening of the security agencies, how does it translate into security of lives and property and investment in this case?
Thank you very much, Mr. Ruka. Basically, I just want to point out some of the things that he just said. I'm happy that he mentioned the ShopRite and the Woolworth and all that. The issue of security is something that do cause a lot of issues when it comes to investment. But the most important thing is the government is on top of it. If you look at what happened in Lagos State, some weeks back, there was a big armed robbery attack on a Monday or on a Sunday in Lagos. And the same week, the governor of Lagos State, with the police, supplied the police with more gadgets that they can use, more vehicles, more ammunition, and the rest of it. People are getting more proactive about what is happening. But these are issues that have been there. It's unfortunate that these are happening, and my heart goes out to those who have lost loved ones and all that. But I just want to clear something. We don't wallow in some of the things that are happening and forgetting some of the good things that the government is doing. One of the good programs that can create a lot of employment in this country, which Mr. Uwachukwu could actually look to tap into, is this new set of program that the government is coming up with to say you can take on a graduate who is unemployed in Nigeria and they can learn under you for a year. The government pays their salary while you're mentoring them and changing their life. Part of the thing that we need to do is to change the value system of our young graduates. And we can do that now by actually getting them on the chip. The government is saying, come, if you want to work, sign with us. If you need employees, graduates, skilled employees that you can train for a year, you can do that. So companies, legal practice like Mr. Uwachukwu people can apply to such a program where they can actually take some of these youth out. The more of these people that you take on and you reskill and you retool is going to make you better. The government has said it. I mean, the president said it at the speech that you cannot do it alone. This is one area where we can help each other. Let us look at this project as a Nigerian project. Nigeria belongs to every single one of us. It does not belong to one single person. It doesn't belong to the governor. It doesn't belong to the president. It doesn't belong to the local government. Whatever you can do to make this country better, let's do it. I mean, I see everybody. You see the columnists, you see the newspaper, everywhere talking about the flood. But if this had happened in an advanced country, what the people would do is the people would do fundraising activity. The church will start fundraising, the mosque will start fundraising, individuals will start fundraising. This is a natural disaster. It's not a time to start abusing the president. It's not the time to start abusing the Kogi state governor. It's not the time to start accusing the Anambra state governor. All we need to do is for us to rise up and help these people. So there are a lot of projects that are going on. The only challenge I have is that Nigerians don't want to take that step. And
well, is it possible for the people who have been affected so badly by the floods to raise any funds now? I'll give you the opportunity to answer that question, but I'd like us to take this time to recognize our other guest who has been in the studio for some time now. He is the economist we were talking about, Mr. Wale Oluwo. He's just joined us not long ago. Thanks for joining us on Politics Today.
Thank you very much.
Well then, rather late in the day, because actually I was going to pit you against a member of the National Assembly, the chairman of the House Committee on Appropriation, Honorable John Eno, who was here earlier on the program, and what he did talk about, you know, had to do with the fixing of the benchmark for the 2013 budget and the differences between the National Assembly and the presidency. So quickly, let me just take you up on this matter, because I mean, he had the field day. He had the studio all to himself. But then
maybe he didn't have a field day because I align fully with the House of Reps on this.
Really?
Yeah, that's the truth.
Okay. Well, the House of Representatives is differing with the executive, saying the benchmark should be raised to $82. Sanusi, the central bank governor, is pegging it at $75 per barrel of oil. And he says increasing the benchmark will not bring more money, but it is the oil theft in the Niger Delta that's affecting production. Increasing production will, but not increasing the benchmark. What's your take on that?
He is correct to the extent that increasing the benchmark will not translate to increased income.
So why would the National Assembly then want the benchmark to be raised to $82 per barrel?
But let me tell you why it is good to raise it to 82. In fact, it is much more fundamental than that. The question about this excess crude account is this. Number one, it's constitutional. The Constitution does not recognize it. That's why the federal government wants all the states to come together and collaborate with it. So I see it more from the point of view of a cooperative society. Come and join this cooperative and let us save together. But the question is, why must there be a central savings platform for the entire nation? It's risky from three perspectives. One, if you save this money, a lot of this money will find their way into the international markets. Goldman Sachs, Merrill Lynch, and the rest of them. That is invariably, whatever you save will be translated to investment elsewhere.
Yes.
And it's not capital flight, strictly speaking, but they are going to use the money to develop the economy, because as we give more of our money to them to manage and invest, they are creating jobs in their own economy. That is one. The second one is, if you have a central savings platform and there is a risk to investment, which is that if you invest it, you might make money. Sometimes you make a wrong investment decision, you lose money. So when you lose money centrally, everybody will suffer for it. So the question is, you don't need every state to contribute and translate it to a sovereign wealth fund that will be managed centrally. Let every state get their share of the federal revenue. Let them determine how they're going to plan it. Let them determine how they will invest it, and let them determine what portion of it they want to save. Every state does not have to save. That's the truth. A Lagos state today does not have to save money because it can access money at any time because of its rating. And a second argument that's being made about this issue is that if you save money, it will improve your rating. And if your rating is improved according to the proponents of this idea, you will be able to borrow in the international market at a very low rate. I think it doesn't work like that. America for decades have had the highest possible rating. But it's not because they've been saving. In fact, America has not saved in almost like 50 years.
Actually, it appears as if their own budget is most of the time in deficit.
Permanently in deficit. But they have the best rating in the whole world. So your rating is not a function of your savings. Your rating is a function of the productivity of your economy. And when you have a global depression, it is not a smart thing to emphasize savings. You must emphasize investment, because why? In the first instance, all asset prices are low. So the more you invest, the more you put yourself in a position to maximize that recovery potential. And then conceptually on the political side, I'm sorry I came late. On the political side, there's a tendency that the people at the federal level see themselves as, we are federal government and the states are separate, the local governments are separate. It's not like that. A federation is like people coming together to form a company. And everything that belongs to that company belongs to everybody. There is nothing called Nigeria except the 36 states plus the federal capital territory. So any money that is in the federation account that has not been shared to the states, that resides with the federal government, belongs to all the people in Nigeria. It belongs to the states. So for me, let me tell you something.
Yes.
If the federal government has contributed to the sovereign wealth fund, that is for the entire Nigeria. It is superfluous and anachronistic to expect the states to come and make concomitant contribution. There's no need for it.